Oh, you are my favorite great-great-niece.
And you are my favorite great-great-aunt.
I hope you don't mind me ranting a bit. It's that mean PSW with the reptile eyes. Oh, I'm at her mercy when you're not here, Cassie. She can be so rough when she puts me to bed, and you know, the more I complain, the rougher she gets. And she says, "What's the matter, princess?" And oh.
It's loosely based and inspired by the novel by Merilyn Simonds called Convict Lover, and that was based on a number of letters that Merilyn found in her house that had been exchanged between a young girl in 1919-1920 and an inmate at Kingston Penitentiary. And when she found this cache of letters, it was fascinating, so she decided to make a novel out of it. And she also included part of the history of Kingston in it, and it became quite a popular novel. So Theatre Kingston commissioned Judith Thompson to do an adaptation, and Judith wasn't interested in doing a straight adaptation. She found the stories fascinating in The Convict Lover, but she wanted to update it, and she just wanted to do a new take on it. So what's happened is the protagonist in Convict Lover is now 106 and living in an old age home in Kingston, and her great-great-niece is returning those original letters to the penitentiary.
So we're just going to go from "You're my favorite great-great-aunt" and just do that little scene into the song.
It starts with this woman named Phyllis. She has these letters that she has kept since 1919 that she exchanged with an inmate at the penitentiary. She wants me to take them back into the penitentiary so they can be safe and they can stay there forever. So I am this master's student getting my master's in sociology at Queen's. I say, okay, I'll take them in. I meet this convict. And we spark a relationship, and I keep coming back to work on the letters with him, and we have this relationship, and it complicates things.
Prison? You want me to take all your letters back into the Kingston Penitentiary?
That's where they belong, and that's where they'll be safe.
But who would I, how do I?
No, I imagine them as part of a grand display of the inner lives of the better prisoners, not the really nasty ones, just the boys who lost their way for a while, like my beloved, and I imagine them behind glass with other artifacts, or old handcuffs perhaps, and pictures of the men working, pounding the rocks.
For an actor, it's you know, what you're trying to do with an audience is you're trying to get the audience with you, and to get the audience to be with you in the story, and to follow all the nuances and all the, you know, the particulars. But what's really cool about doing this play that's so, you know, quintessentially Kingston and so specifically like Kingston, and everyone, you know, I'm sure people who come here are going to know about the book. They know what's going on and the references that we make. So in that respect, it's really great. It's comforting to know that the audience is essentially already there with you. They're there to listen, you know, they get all the details. You know, it's like watching a film where you know the backstory on. You know, if you're a fan of Marvel comics and you're watching Deadpool, you know all the little references. So it just makes it that much more enjoyable.
Something precious, something strange, hidden in this box. In her eyes shines fearlessness, just like the mother fox facing down the hounds.
There's a huge Kingston connection, not only in the fact that Kingston Penitentiary is, as you say, down the road, and those stories that come from Kingston Penitentiary are directly linked to ours. I think sometimes it's very easy for Kingstonians to just go about their daily lives and forget that we have quite a large prison population living in this area. And so it's like these parallel lives, and so when do they come together? Judith Thompson is originally from Kingston. She's now living in Toronto. Many of the artists who are working on the production are from Kingston. And then for the stories themselves, we've taken for our inspiration the limestone that formed Kingston Penitentiary, and that the convicts actually worked quarrying the limestone to create the penitentiary, and that was one of the jobs they had to keep them busy. And so we've actually used the geography of it as well as the ideas contained therein.
Her life has shaped something precious, something strange.
Judith Thompson is a Governor General's award-winning playwright who comes from Kingston. So an original work from her that actually has its genesis in Kingston. Kingston is so lucky to have that and to have that talent here. Incredible actors in this as well, working at a professional level. And the music written by Tom Bellman is truly spectacular. So it's, I think, a story unlike most that you'll see in Kingston because it is saying how can we use this area as inspiration to talk about who we are. And plus you get to come to the Bader, and it's gorgeous here too. So I think for a full evening's entertainment, it's thought-provoking and transcendental, I think.
Her only truth is all